Oh man, okay. All right, hey, what's going on, 10 Back Bowling? So it's Jesse here, and today I bring you the Brunswick Quantum Evo Pearl. This bowling ball I'm extremely excited about. So this ball is something that I'm looking to add to my bag personally for those heavier volume conditions. This ball has a pretty high RG and high differential, and it's got a large engine with an intermediate diff of 0.024. So this ball is expected to be pretty strong and angular down lane, and I think that it's going to fit in my bag really at the top for what I have. So we'll check it out. I'm going to move from the track area as far left as I can with it, and then I also brought another ball that I typically use on heavy volume conditions, a Columbia 300 high speed. That is a hybrid, vice the Pearl cover stock here, but I think that the complement of the two balls is really going to be demonstrated here today in this video. So before we start, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Okay, so I got the Quantum Evo Response. I'm going to throw up the track area to start. Already just in this zone, this is a lot of bowling ball. I'm going to try to increase my ball speed on this next shot. See if I can get it to clear the mid lane a little bit more. As you can see though, the ball's got some really nice down lane shape. I think it'll be really good once it's to the left. Definitely threw that harder. Almost got there. Alright, so I'm going to throw this high speed just so you can get kind of an idea of the difference between two balls in this area for me. So I got that just a little bit further right, but you can see much slower response down lane than that Evo. The Evo definitely saw the friction a lot quicker. That high speed is much earlier hooking for me. Okay, so I'm not going to beat up the track area too much with this Evo because I know it's not really where it wants to be. So I'm going to move, make a 5-board move left. Man, all right, so still a lot of ball. As you can see though, it's really clean through the fronts in the mid lane. It's extremely reactive down lane, which is exactly what I wanted out of the bowling ball. Again, really, this isn't a ball that I foresee myself using a whole lot on general house shot conditions. Maybe a game one ball, but I have other equipment that realistically I'd probably be in. Let's see what that does. There we go. A little better. Just need to give it a little bit more lane. So I'm throwing the ball about 16.5 miles an hour right now. It's about my typical ball speed on average. Yeah, so you can see in this area, definitely a little bit better look with the bowling ball. It is really tight down lane for me though. I'm getting that ball pretty far right down lane to be able to get it to the pocket. My mistake room is not very high. If I do miss in, I know I'm going to go high through the nose, so that's not necessarily a look that I want to see, but it is good to see the shape of the bowling ball and how well it's getting through the pins. Okay, we're gonna throw one more ball in this area, and then we'll recap on kind of what we've seen so far. Okay, all right, so as you can see, when I threw up in the track area with this Evo, way too much bowling ball, you know, unless I was throwing 18 miles an hour and took some hand out of it, really the chances of me getting the ball to the pocket wasn't going to be very high. Whereas with the high speed, you could saw the high speed was a lot earlier rolling, a lot less you know, reaction down lane to the friction, much slower response time down lane. As I moved inside, this Evo looks a lot better, but there's still really a pretty tight area that I have to get the ball down inside of to be able to get it to shape correctly to the pocket. If I miss in a little bit, you can see the ball picks up and, you know, goes left, Brooklyn on me. And if I really don't get it out far enough with enough hand, you know, the ball's not going to be able to recover. So I'm going to get into the high speed in the same area that I just threw that Evo and really see what the difference is between the two. So I'm interested to see how this high speed rolls in this area. Usually this is kind of where it wants to be for house shots with me. Okay, so I missed in just a little bit on that, but you can see that it had a chance still. Much slower down lane than the Evo is. So I think that the bowling balls do complement each other really well in that regard. That's a little better. Okay, still came in just a little high, but the glaring difference between the two ball reactions is that Evo is much more angular down lane, and both balls are asymmetrical. The Evo, I think, is just much sharper down lane, with this high speed being a hybrid ball. You can see that it's much earlier, so the response time down lane isn't near as significant as the Evo. Got that out right. Yeah, so, you know, I think that's where you can definitely see a difference between the two. Is, you know, when I pitched the Evo outright, it was still pretty quick off of the friction, was able to get to the pocket, whereas the high speed, just not quite enough down lane to be able to do that. That was better. Yeah, so high speed looks pretty good here. Both bowling balls are a little strong for, you know, this house shot condition that I'm throwing on for me. I think in reality I would probably be in something a little bit cleaner, not quite so angular, something symmetrical for sure. All right, not bad. Yeah, so now that I'm basically standing in line with the left gutter, you know, keeping the ball in the middle of the lane longer where the volume is, pitching it outright, giving it some room on the lane. You can see that the bowling ball looks really good. And this just kind of goes to what I was saying in the beginning about this ball, you know, needing a lot of volume for me, with just how angular and responsive it is to the friction. Yeah, so I threw that pretty good. It might be a little slow. I think I threw that just a tad slower than the previous two. And you can see it really, you know, check mark down lane. Okay, so I'm gonna throw one more of this Evo in this area. I even think there's some more room to the left, so I might make one more move, to be honest. That's pretty good. All right. Okay, so I'm going to transition to the high speed in that same area. right, so I threw that a little slow and I got around it a lot. But the ball definitely stored up energy a little bit better in this area, being more in the middle of the lane. All right, I'm gonna try and make a little bit better shot. That's a little better. Nice. Yeah, so both bowling balls definitely look better the further left I get. Just more into the oil. I still like the motion of both bowling balls in a different way. I think that's something that I was looking for. The high speed being a big favorite of mine since I've had it, thrown it a lot. When the high speed is just not enough ball down lane and just burning out too early. I was looking for something that would clear the fronts a little bit better and still have enough down lane reaction. And I think that's what the Evo does for me. But I do like the high speed, being a little bit slower response down lane like it is right now. Okay, so I'm gonna throw one more with this high speed in this area, and then we'll recap kind of what we see so far. Okay. All right, so that is the Brunswick Evo Quantum Response, basically standing on the left gutter, the edge of it at least, and the Columbia 300 high speed. So in that area, I think that both bowling balls performed a little bit better for me because, again, as I stated previously in the video, these are heavier volume oil bowling balls for me. Like I need, a condition that's going to allow me to play with both of these and still be able to get the ball either through the fronts and or to get down lane and really read off of the friction and get back to the pocket. In leagues so far, specifically with the Evo, I've thrown it one time, and the house that I threw it in is very high friction, so I was super far left, and really trying to get the ball through the fronts was difficult. And then with the high speed, with it being as early reading as it is, I really don't even have a chance to throw it very often in the house that I bowl on my Tuesday night league. Now my Thursday night league, it's a completely different story. I haven't thrown my Evo yet, but I do typically throw my high speed because the volume is just a lot higher in regards to where the pattern is distributed on the lane. So I'm actually able to throw my high speed a lot. And typically what I see for me is, as the night goes on, we get closer to the end of the night, my high speed just burns up too early as the fronts start to go away. So I really got the Evo so that I had something that was going to clear the fronts a little bit better and still be angular enough down lane off the friction to get to the pocket and be continuous through the pins. So far, I think that I really like the two bowling balls and how they complement each other. I am going to make one last move, not with the high speed probably, but I'll throw the Evo one last time. I think there's a little bit more room there. So I'm going to try to loft the gutter just a little bit, and we'll see. I'm curious to see just really how responsive the ball can be down lane, or if it's just not enough and the angles are too steep. So let's check it out. We'll see what it does. See how well the ball really is. Wow. Yeah, so that's pretty impressive for that ball to get through the fronts, the mids, and pick up and see the friction down lane and be that angular and still continue through the pins. That's pretty impressive to me. That's pretty good. Oh, kick the 10 out. Okay, so that is the Quantum Evo response from basically as far left as I would ever imagine getting. And even if I did end up over there, it would be a very rare circumstance. I probably wouldn't be opening the lane up. But overall, I'm very happy with the way that the bowling ball rolls. As expected, it is a lot of bowling ball. It's really clean through the fronts and extremely responsive and angular down lane to the friction. Which is really what I was looking for when I got this bowling ball. I think that for anybody that is a little bit more speed dominant, that is looking for some assistance with the bowling ball to make that the left turn down lane, I think that this would be a great option for, you know, rev dominant guys. This is probably going to be a bowling ball that you're going to need really for higher volume oil patterns. You know, I think that if you're trying to use a bowling ball this strong on your typical house shot, you know, your window of usage for that's going to be pretty slim, as it is with me. But I think that overall I'm very excited, and I think that the Evo line has been you know, a pretty good line inside of the Brunswick brand for a long time, and I think that this Pearl bowling ball is a great complement to that. So if you like what you saw today, you know, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us some comments. Give us your feedback on either the video or, you know, what your take is on the bowling ball if you have it and thrown it. And make sure you check out some of our other videos. We appreciate you guys, and if you want to order one of these today, you know, hit up your local pro shop and or hit up 10 Back Pro Shop at any of our 3 locations. All right, until next time, we'll see you guys.